Hello, beautiful people and fellow whiners, and welcome to another episode. Welcome back. God,
Yeah.
welcome back to the second season, second part of the season of A Little Something, the number two. Wine about. Oh, I'm missing a nail. That's right. That broke earlier. Sorry, that was not sexy. Little Something, number two. Wine about with your hostesses, with the toastesses, Miss Siobhan Camille. Hello.
Anti-A Michelle. Hey, y'all.
Where sis get real. If you need a reason to drink, come drink with us. Um,
Period.
y'all know wine while we wine. All of that stuff. It's second Wednesday, so we are back on the clock. This is Sis Let's Wine. We gonna wine. I got a topic. I got something I'm bring to the table.
Y'all, this one I'll shoot the shits. This is when I'll shoot the shit. So we just gonna be talking.
We gonna talk. We gonna talk. We gonna talk. And why you shouldn't probably go down the rabbit hole of YouTube, but we gonna talk. So yeah, grab a glass of your favorite red, white, Pinot de Agua. It's White September, so make sure it's white. Try to lean into the white this month, y'all. And join us on the couch. Don't drink and drive. I feel like I should kick off this here.
This part of the season.
This part of the season and say that. Are you gonna lower your hand?
Huh?
In Zoom? You don't see the yellow hand? Your yellow hand has been raised forever, and I cannot lower it.
I don't know how to lower it. Oh, it's a button. Okay.
Oh my God. Zoom trying to be fancy, and they do.
I know. I was like, why is that a thing? I talk with my hands, so I don't.
I know.
It'll prison again.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, y'all. So yeah, it's White September. I'm gonna say November, girl. You rushing it. It's White September. We about to talk about our popping grapes experiences. I'll start. I have our famous Robert Mondavi. His private collection. It's called Lightly Bubbled Pinot Grigio. I know we haven't had this since 2021. We like Pinot Grigio. I don't think I've really had a Pinot Grigio with bubbles, so I was intrigued.
This isn't really a popping grape. It's white, but it's not a popping grape.
Okay, well there we have.
It's a 2021 Gewürztraminer by Chateau Saint Michel. I think I had this like year one or two, and I'm gonna bring it on back because it's one of my favorites. Y'all know I love a good Gewürztraminer. I just was too lazy to go to the store, guys. Like I need water, and I didn't go to the store.
Not dehydration.
I have a big bubba, like it holds like 2 gallons. Well, half a gallon. It holds half a gallon, so I'm straight. I gave Roman the last of the water bottles. We actually don't give him the tap. There's a reason. My dog is bougie. He did get some of the tap. He did get some of the tap, and he was not here for it. Let me tell you. He was parched. But our water has like sulfur in it, I think, because every now and again it has that eggy smell, which they say is healthy for you. This is the face of
that's what they say.
This is the face of disbelief. So we don't
I didn't get that memo. Well, okay.
We don't drink that stuff. So yeah, the dog gets bottled water or he gets distilled water. We bougie in here. Everybody drinks the good water. But not today. So so yeah, not a popping grape.
Okay. Well, okay, y'all. It's been a while. We just gonna shoot the stuff. Just to give y'all a little foresight into what we're about to jump into. Sissy went down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And we were talking about it, and I was like, hold up, wait. We just let's record. Let's do this for the people. Let's share our opinions. Again, these are our opinions, and you do not have to agree. If you don't agree, put it in the comments. If you do agree, put it in the comments. However, be respectful. We're here for the debate, but not the disrespect. Please understand that you will get blizzard. If you are disrespectful, we do not have to agree because we are not all the same people. You will find very often, more than not, that we don't always agree. We have different viewpoints, and that's perfectly fine. So, argue, moan, complain, agree, high five, all that with us. today. Go ahead, Sissy. Let the people know the rabbit hole.
So I was on a rabbit hole of this thing called YouTube. And I usually don't even go on YouTube, but since I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, I don't have Twitter, but I'll tell you, I have nada. That's what I mean. But I was on our YouTube because I was like throwing stuff up and I was just there. And it made me realize that the world needs more love, y'all. It needs more love. That's a deeper conversation, but there were three posts that really made me say, yo, the world needs more love. And we may get to one of the last one. The middle one, I don't really remember at this point, but there were two big ones that stuck with me. The first, and this is what this is about. There was a guy who said, the 5 things women should not share with a man, or 5 things a woman should not tell a man up front. Now, we understand that some titles are clickbait. So upfront, and upfront is a vast meaning. Like there was no set, and you had people in the comments that were like, well, he's talking first, second, or third date. He's talking this, that, and the third. He's talking, and that's the problem also is you get a lot of interpretations of what people say. But if I'm going on his own words, because he's a married man, and to preface this conversation as well, we are also 2 women, and one of us single. Hello, the other is married. So for y'all who are like,
9 years in December married.
So for those who are like, oh, y'all just single chicks hating and y'all don't whatever, only one of us is a quote unquote single chick hating. That would be me, I guess, because I fall in the single category.
I guess I'll be if the title fits, I'll be a married chick hating.
I'm not really hating, but I just know like when these topics come up, you know, I'm a contrarian. I was a contrarian recently at my job and awarded for it, but you're not really awarded for it on social media. It is what it is. So, yeah, 5 things a woman should not do up front. Now, to be fair, this man is married. Okay. And he was like, there are things I'm still learning about my wife. You know, ladies, you shouldn't share too much up front. There are things that I'm learning. So because that was how he prefaced it, and he said there are things you shouldn't tell your boyfriend. You should tell the man that's going to be with you for the rest of your life, your husband. Okay. So my thing is when you're talking up front, you're talking before marriage. That's right. How it was presented as I heard it. That's how it was presented. Not 3 days in, not 7 days, not y'all boyfriend now, you can tell them. Y'all in a relationship, you can tell them. Not y'all are engaged, you can tell them. No. Don't wait until after marriage to tell him certain things because whatever. There were 5 things in this thing, and we're going to go one by one. The first was, I'm going to tell y'all the 5, and then we'll go from there. To be fair, I stopped listening at the third one. So me reading through the comments, because some girl listed all 5. 2 girls listed all 5. And I was like, thank you. The first one was, don't tell him about your trauma. The second one was, don't tell him how many sexual partners you had. The third one was, don't tell him what you want in a man. The fourth one was, don't tell him about your exes or your last relationship. The 5th one was, don't tell him about your family issues. I can't say I agree.
So, out of the whole list, why does it all sound like just 3 separate things? Like a couple of those things are like the same.
A couple of them could be related. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like they in the same like category family. Like, but.
And I will say to y'all, when we started talking, she said a good, very, very good thing. My sister was like, well, a lot of that then sounds deceitful. And that's how I feel. I feel like if you're waiting until marriage to tell somebody certain things, you're hiding, it becomes deceit. Because let's start at the top. Trauma. Again, I understand if at date 1, you don't want to tell him all your trauma. I'm saying that too. You don't
want all. Like you might even like be like, you know, that was very traumatic for me. And like, so that, you know, you don't have to go into it. You can say, you can be having a general conversation, like, yeah, but that was traumatic for me, but I don't want to talk about it right now. Like, and continue on. I think that, but go ahead.
No, I agree with that. That's my thing too. I feel like with trauma has such a range. Your bad experiences. Yeah, your bad experiences. But no, I mean like even legit what trauma means can be a range. You can go from the trauma of being bullied to the trauma of being sexually assaulted to the trauma of being sexually violated to the trauma of watching your parents fight to the trauma of being in a devastating car accident where somebody else lost their life. There's so many things. So to just say, don't tell somebody your traumas,
it's very broad.
It's very broad.
But see, I think for that is where what he might be speaking of in reference to all the things that you said are definitely trauma or something that was traumatized, that could be traumatizing. In the world of today, trauma is I broke a nail and I got an infection and I had to get a shot.
But I don't think that's what he would be talking about.
No, but that's why he said what I'm telling you, because in the world today, everything is trauma. And we've talked about everything ain't trauma. But in the world today, a lot of people look at everything is trauma. So when he's in that general sense, I'm thinking he could be speaking to that in itself. Like, look, don't go in there telling him all your trauma. I think on a deeper sense of it, that because we know the definition of the word trauma and the big things that are truly trauma, that's why we have the issue that we have. Like, well, wait a minute. I should be able to talk about that.
When he said it, because that was one of the few I actually listened all the way through, he's talking the big stuff. He's talking, don't tell the real trauma. Not the I've broken the little, don't tell him you're petty. No, he's talking the trauma. Again, I just feel like certain trauma should not wait until marriage to be discovered.
No, absolutely not.
Because a lot of them are going to impact who you are.
Who you are is going to impact your relationship. It's going to impact your partner, which I think is what he was trying to allude to. Like, and he might be alluding to the person who likes to tell people, the oversharer, who scares people away with their trauma, because taking on too much too early is a lot. But that does not mean, like we're stating, because I didn't listen to this, so going off what the precedent that Siobhan has already set in reference to this man and his words, he's talking about before until marriage. You people, well, some people, not all, have waited years before they got married. So you're not going to tell me that years of dating this one person, this same person, and we may share a home. At some point, they might even share kids. They can share all this other stuff, but I'm not supposed to share my trauma before I marry this person. That's a bit much. That's a bit extreme. In my head. When people, in my head, as far as a time frame, when people don't give a time frame, I think first quarter.
Fair. So do I. I think first quarter. I feel like here's the thing with the trauma is it's whatever you, and this is why I know it was the big stuff, because he made a comment about don't tell your boyfriend, tell your therapist. That was the kind of thing. So you're talking the deep stuff. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to therapy if you need it and do all of that. But if you're dealing with someone and you want someone to deal with the real authentic you, there are things about you or things that have happened to you that have happened to all of us. We were all children at one point. We all had childhood. That impacts so much. So you're going to tell me, don't tell me what happened on the playground. All of that makes you who you are. And if someone's going to understand me, one of my traumatizing experiences as a child was being bullied as long as I was, and about all the stuff that I was. And it has very damn sure shaped me to who I am. So I'm not going to wait until marriage to be like, you know what? I don't take compliments really well. Like at this point, like
that's a little late.
And if dude was like, madam, yo, because this is the other thing. If he's like, yo, I've been with you for 2 years and I really loved you, so I stuck through this, but I wish you would have told me earlier.
Because he could have pivoted, and that could have been something that you worked on together. So I just believe that he should have put some type of time frame in that statement. I really do. Now, do I also understand that most intelligent people think they're speaking to another intelligent person? So when they say things like that, that's that broad. They do think, okay, this is normal. But in the world that we live in today, I think we all understand that your normal may not be my normal, which is why there's no such thing as common sense. But hey, anyway, there's that. But in the thought process and the perspective that this man has already thrown out, not mentioning a time frame, there are a lot of questions with this. As far as like the traumas is one thing. Now, one thing I'm married. I will never, big on my hand again. I will never tell my husband how many people I slept with. One, that ain't his business. That's mine. I had a life before him, just like he had a life before me. I don't want to know how many people that man slept with. And I'm sure he don't want to know how many people I slept with. Now, that's not saying that it got to be a whole bunch of people between on either side. However, that should, I'm sorry, I'm a married woman. I just feel like that shouldn't even be a conversation.
I'm not a married woman. And I feel like if you didn't, do you have any STDs? Have you had any STDs? Do
that
you
part.
have children?
That part.
That's what I care about. Because if you slept with, you can sleep with one person and get the monster of all STD, right? So, but you can sleep with 12 and you straight.
Clean.
You
Okay.
clean, no kids, man. What? Okay, then it doesn't matter. You can sleep with 3 and have 1 child. Like, because STDs and children are what have the potential to linger and cause issues in the future. That's what matters. I don't care how many. Now, with that, I'm gonna hope that you weren't like just out here. But I'm really not gonna ask you. The only time I would ask you is if we go out to eat and every chick's like, oh hey.
Like, wait a minute, hold up. What's up? Like now I got questions. Now I got questions.
Now I got questions.
And you do Bigelow, Mel Gigolo out here.
Like, whether you clean or child free, I have questions. Why do you know every chick? You said hi to the 6 waitresses, 3 of them, the hostess don't wink at you. 2 chicks
over there with and then we walk to the park and the ice cream lady, like what? Hold up. Questions. Like that warrants questions. I get it. And the same if the role was reversed.
Absolutely.
If every man she came in contact with, it has that little, like confidence of, I hit it first. If they have that Ray J confidence, I hit it first, which technically, if everybody has that confidence, you don't know who hit it first, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? Like, or they giving you that little slick side eye, or the little things that guys do to signify to other guys that, yeah, I hit that. If that's happening too often, then absolutely, I understand. Ask the question. But as a person who has had relationships before my husband, that's not, that shouldn't be a conversation for a male or a female.
No.
Period.
Now, what he was saying for context was he was coaching one of his coachees. And again, if you're saying that women shouldn't have this conversation with the guy they're with until they're married, I wonder why you're having this conversation with your coachee and how this came up. But whatever. And she expressed to him the number of men she had been with. And he said, well, why is the number the number? And her reason was her first time was taken from her. It was not her choice. So when she was in committed relationships, things would happen and that was fine. But with men that she was just like dating casually, or they weren't in a relationship, if they broached the subject or it came up or like they were in the heat of the moment, she had the fear that if she said no, she would be violated again. So she just was like, okay, it was easier to comply than to say no or to reject or resist. And my thing is that relates to the first thing about trauma, because
which should be a conversation that you have early on in your relationship before you get married. Before you get married, before you even become sexually active, that way. Because let's say you don't have this conversation until you get married. Then when you get married, let's say you don't even have it immediately after. Maybe it comes up a year into your marriage. And let's say you are going to therapy, couples therapy together, and this comes out. now you may potentially be leaving your husband with the lingering thought of, did she really think that I was going to do this to her? And that in itself is not healthy, because he can internalize that as well. That's one, too. You're not giving him the opportunity to show you something different. You're not giving him the opportunity to assist you with working on it. You're not giving him the opportunity to even say, look, I can't do this. You're robbing him
of his choice.
Of his choice in the relationship. And that's not cool either. So something, just speaking to that example itself, yes, that is something. Now, again, this is not your first, second, third, fourth, fifth date conversation. This is ladder of the first quarter going into the second, because at this point you have established we are committed to growing together in any direction. And this is something that you can see even potentially going there. So, and this is an important conversation. Remember, y'all, we had a whole episode on having tough conversations.
And healing after trauma. It's the thing that like she said, you have robbed him of the choice or the ability to help you. Because this is the other part. Like she said, now let's say y'all go to couples therapy or whatever. Or let's say you're in a marriage now. Till death do us part. For life. Guess what's gonna happen? And please correct me because you're married and I'm not. So if I'm wrong, just be like, no, you're wrong, sis. It's gonna be time he may want sex and you don't.
No, girl.
So girl. Now,
especially if they got a higher sex drive than you, girl.
So now you're going to be triggered every time because you feel, as you stated, that in the past when somebody wanted it, you just had to, even if it wasn't what you wanted. Eventually, you're gonna do that long enough. It's gonna take a toll on you.
It's gonna take a toll on you, and physically, and I'm not just talking about the stress. I'm talking about as a female, your female parts, y'all. As somebody who
react the same when you're not committed.
They don't react the same. There are muscles and there's a whole therapy that I didn't know existed, that I found out existed later for other reasons. But going through that, I found out that, well, sometimes things like what we are literally talking about happens to those in those type situations. And I was like, well, wait, why isn't this talked about? And they were like, well, because a lot of people don't talk about their trauma.
When the real trauma that you should not broke a nail and got an infection. Right. So you're going to go through this, and now it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. Your body eventually, as you check out, is going to have the potential to check out. He's going to think something's wrong, especially if you've been in it. You were in it for the past month. We were honeymoon phase, and now like what's going on?
What's up?
What's up?
Not the same. Or you randomly start crying because we can't get emotional. You know, we be emotional.
Especially if you've been doing
or
that.
You can just be angry. Like,
or
you know what I'm saying?
Angry. Yep.
Like, you can literally be angry. You can become numb. Like, all of those things. As someone who has been in a relationship for the amount of years I have, you go through stages. So, not saying that you still won't go through those stages, but if this is already on the table, who knows? It might be a step that you skip because you did talk about it. Like we got another episode on communication. Y'all.
We talk. Y'all know we talk. If you don't we talk. And so that was the other one. So that was my thing about the sexual thing. Now, the third one, and I'm sure I'm all out of order. But don't tell him what you want in a man, because it'll give him the blueprint, and then he'll pretend until he goes to find another one. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all gonna look at me like, oh, but she's still single. Please understand, I am still single by choice. Miss me. So y'all really not hurting me. Me being single is not hurting me, and y'all telling me I'm single is not hurting me either. Here's the thing. No. If a man, understand this, ladies, and understand this. This is what I've learned in my life. If a man really doesn't want to be there, he's not going to do what the blueprint is. This is what I think. What's your blueprint? Let me tell you that my blueprint is simple. And certain people still won't do it. Let's say your blueprint when the dude's like, what do you want in a man? Oh, I just want him to be honest. Let me tell you that a liar is not going to be honest. He's not going to pull that act off too long. He's not going to pull that act off too long, and he's going to lie and get caught in his lie because that's not really a part of who he is. This is the thing, and I'm not saying people don't put on good faces. I'm not saying
narcissists don't exist.
I'm not saying people don't come to the table with their representatives, but what I am saying is that can't last but so long, especially if it's a character trait that somebody really doesn't possess, that they can pretend for longer than a week, maybe 2.
Now, see, I'm gonna go. We got some winners out there. I'm gonna just be honest. I know we got some good ass actors out there. However,
do they want to play the role? Because there are so many.
That's their part. If they don't want to, they won't. That's the part. The other part to this is it's so much. You gotta be careful with this. You have to be really. I lost my whole train of thought. What was the third one again?
You said you got to be careful.
But what was the third point?
The third point was,
don't tell him the type of man you want.
Yeah, don't tell him.
That part. If you don't tell him, he won't know.
Man, that's what I'm saying. That too.
You can't say. So if you don't tell him, he won't know. However, I do understand. This is why I say I feel like he thought he was talking to an intelligent person. Because if you take it literally, what we're saying applies. If you take it and you think above that, like you don't take it like as literal, then you can understand. Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you what I want so you can manipulate me. However, I can tell you what I want without tell you what I might not tell you what I want in a man, but I'll tell you what I want out of my relationship.
True. That's one way to frame it.
So that's one way to say it. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe it was the coachee. Maybe he knew extra information about her. Like he knew, okay, you talk too much. You give too much information up front. Maybe that's what that was. Maybe he was thinking about
a specific person.
Right. So, and that's why I was like, but see, guys, these are also things that we don't know when we're listening to things. So as you hear us work this out together as two people, please take those things into perspective. And even as you listen to us and listening to other people, like think outside of that. You can talk about it in there, but also think outside of it a little bit. So I don't know. I can understand that because so my husband and I started dating. I literally told him, I'm not getting my next relationship will be my last. Not saying that, oh no, you are going to be my next relationship.
Right.
But what I am looking for is long term, is stability, is growth together, is, a life partner, a husband. That's what I am in the market for. So if that's not something that you are in the market for, cool. I understand that. You may not be there. Shoot, if you would have asked me 6 months before that, not even 6 months, 3 months before that, because we was in Atlantic City, wasn't my train of thought then. So I just figured out I can't wear tube top. I mean, take them crop tops no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but there came a time when I think it's a way that you say it. I agree to a certain extent. Well, I want a man who wants 3 kids, a man who got a good job. Whoa. First of all, those things are kind of common. Everybody wants a man with a good job. Everybody wants a man with, but hold on, no, a good job where they can be sustainable. That's what I mean by a good job. Not like a good job, like you got to make it 6 figures. I'm not saying that. But everybody wants a man that's working, that has goals, that, all of those. We want, I hope.
The hope.
I hope that's what. But okay. The general stuff, I guess. I'm trying to keep it neutral here, but the general stuff. We get that. So I understand when he said no, don't go. I think he's more so speaking to like the checklist. One of my favorite movies is The Ugly Truth.
I don't think I've seen.
Oh, girl, it's hilarious. And she literally has a whole checklist of what she wants her husband to be and to look like. And the guy was like, well, first of all, it's not gonna happen. Like when she read him off the checklist, he was like, oh, you're ugly. Like, not saying that if you have a checklist, you're ugly, but it was more so like, what? It was so extreme in this movie that it was like, okay, I need you to come back now. Mind you, the person who she ended up being with, he checked some of those boxes, but not in the way that she thought. And there were some boxes that he just completely missed. So it's one of those things, you know, we talk about balance. That it's that. Like let's not be extremists.
But I guess this is my thing. Couple things. First of all, if you come to somebody with a monstrous checklist, you're probably gonna run most dudes away. They're not gonna try to act this role. They're gonna be out the door.
Like, I can't do this.
And they're gonna be out the door. When you get to I did see, oh my God, and I think it was one of the original reality shows, like back when MTV did road rules and real world stuff. I just remember there was a girl with a checklist and her sister, oh, did you show them the list? Show them the list of what she wanted. It was a legal pad. And she had front and back because she flipped this thing and went back and was still reading what she wanted. If you come with that, most dudes are out the door anyway. Let's call that. The other thing I think is, to me, spirit of discernment. I think more women need to tap into that spirit of discernment because that will help you know if this guy is doing it because he's genuine or if he's doing it because he's trying to lay, play, and slay, pretty much. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of dudes will do that whether you hand them the blueprint or you don't. Like that, and that's the reality. We have to have a certain level of discernment, and I know there are gonna be women saying, "Oh, you putting it on the women, and men need to be better." Two things can be true at the same time.
Period.
Men do need to be.
As that goes, absolutely.
Men need to be better, but women also, you gonna have to do discernment because
you gotta take some accountability in this because it's two people in a relationship, not
two people in this relationship, not just him. So you have to have that spirit of discernment to figure out if what he's saying and doing is genuine or not. The other thing I think we have to acknowledge right now is the statement was, don't do this up front. And we also need to remember, ladies, that a first date is not a relationship.
No.
So on your first date, you can bow out. On your second date, you can bow. Unless there is a titular relationship title given of, this is my boyfriend, I'm his girlfriend, this is my man, I'm his woman, this is I'm his lady, this is my dude, whatever you call, we bathe, whatever. You're not committed to anything. And I keep getting tired of seeing women, and I know where it comes from, ladies. This thought that we have to. We do not have to. And I keep reading stuff that's like, especially when it comes to parenting, and this is an aside slightly, but it's related. When it comes to parenting, because mom has to do this, and a woman or relationships, because even if a man doesn't remember dates, a woman has to remember dates, and a woman has to do this, and has to do this, and a woman has to do this, while men can do this, and a woman has to do this. The only people that are continuing that narrative then, ladies, is us. You make the decision that says, no, a woman does not have to do that. I am not required. It is not my requirement. I do not have to. If you want to forget dates, then I can forget dates too. If you want to be neglectful, then I either can be neglectful too, or I can just be out. I don't have to. Being single is not a curse. It's not the worst thing ever in life. And until we take that accountability and that power to say, being single, I'm cool being by myself, then if you're not going to do this, that, and the third. If you're not
really be cool being by yourself. Like, don't say it to fit a narrative. Don't say it to fit in like legit be okay. Like
Be okay.
y'all have heard both of us say, like we both went on like full celibacy spurts for like years at some points of our lives. And it was because we were okay being by ourselves. And
I had a whole boyfriend for two different to this whole point, actually. I had 2 boyfriends twice during my celibacy. Y'all know the boyfriend? I was celibate for a whole year while we were friendshipping, situationshipping. I had a whole boyfriend in college, and I was celibate for a year in college when he and I got together. And they both stuck around. They both did not cheat. And for me, like, oh, do you know they didn't cheat? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. First of all, because both of them had friends that would snitch to me, because while sex is nice and it is slightly important, it's not the most important thing to mature men. And so because they were mature men and their friends were mature men, they would absolutely tell me, yo, he messed up because he don't deserve a woman like you. Because what do I bring to the table is more than that. So if you as a woman know that what you bring to the table is more than what's between your legs, you can definitely be okay by yourself if somebody's not going to value you. And we have to be able to do that. So my thing with not handing a man a blueprint is, one, like she said, if you don't tell him what you want, how's he going to know? 2, you don't necessarily have to say it's from him. Like she said, she told her now husband, but they had this was like date 1, date 2, whatever. They weren't in a relationship. They weren't together. If you can tell somebody my next relationship will be my last, you're then not in a relationship. Well, not in a relationship with the person you're talking to, I hope. Or you just basically told him it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be with you though.
I'm slow.
It's not gonna be with you, bro. It's not gonna be with you. My next relationship is gonna be my last. Oh, I mean, we together. Yeah. My next.
But my next one though.
Relationship.
Like, damn, that's fucked up. But
it is fucked up. But you know what I mean? So she said that then you can say, telling a man what you expect, your expectations and what you want in your relationship is not necessarily saying what you want from him. So you can just tell him what I don't want. I don't want to be abused. I don't want to be cheated on. I don't want to be disrespected. Where you at? So that was 3. The 4th one was, I'm trying to remember these. Oh, don't tell him about your last relationship or why you broke up with your ex or anything about your previous relationship.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so hold on. I'm the same way on this one as I was on the other. I see 2 sides to this thing. Don't tell him about your previous relationship. I'm gonna be honest. As far as being too soon, it depends on your previous relationship. If your previous relationship was a traumatic experience where you went through domestic abuse and this is that and the other, that is something that I don't care what anyone says. That is something that you definitely need to state in the beginning. I just got out of an abusive relationship and that is not something that I'm looking to enter into again. Period. Point blank, simple, straight. Some things you have to be straight to the point on, and they come up front with the trauma and everything else that you quote unquote not supposed to tell somebody too soon. That is the caveat to that. However, if you are an oversharer and you tend to share too much, you might want to hold that information back. Oh, my last boyfriend cheated on me and I went through this and he got me through. Girl, stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. That spirit of discernment, like she said, we got tap in. Like we got tap. Like, come on, we gotta be smarter than that. We gotta be smarter than that. Not quicker than that, but smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm on both sides of this. Like, where, and that's what I said, me and my husband's a little bit different. Where, what most people don't know is when my husband and I started talking, not even dating, he told me date 2, he may or may not be having another child on the way. He explained the situation and he gave me the choice of how I would like to move forward. Again, my mindset still was my next relationship is going to be my last. That does not mean that you are it. I appreciate you for telling me. However, if we do move forward, this was before me, so I can't be upset. I'm not saying that I won't have any feelings on it, especially if we continue in a relationship.
Right.
But that also depends on how the relationship develops between you, me, the child's mother, things like that. And that's just being real.
Yep.
Raised blended, understand all of that. So that's a real conversation that needs to happen in the beginning, because what you can't do is wait
till we married at the wedding.
Oh, no. But even that, because we got a sister that did not find out that her dude had a child. She thought he was cheating, and the whole 9 yards. Been talking for a minute. Come to find out he had a whole kid he was keeping secret. We're not talking about a baby at the time. Kid had to be about 8, 9. And it was at that moment I knew off break, yep, I'm not going to like you, period. Anybody that will hide their child, I don't give a hoot who I'm talking to much. I got a baby. I'm saying it from the rooftop, period. And it's not just because I'm a woman. It's because I'm a person. It's because I'm a mother. It's because I care. I'm a parent. Like, child first, bump girlfriend, bump coochie, bump dick, period. But, and to me, that just speaks volumes to your character. And needless to say, they are no longer together. Okay?
I would have I'd have bet that moment you tell me something like that, because if you would deny your flesh and blood, I ain't shit.
What am I? Who am I?
Nothing. Nada.
What?
Zilch. Niente. Niente.
That's one. Two, how could you be clearly an active parent and I know nothing? No picture, no nothing. Absolute. So that means if we do continue, is this type of parent you want to be?
Right.
But this was my thoughts. My sister didn't think that far. Or she was too in love or they happy hypnotized, however you want to call it. But whatever. But anyway, that's what I feel about. So certain conversations about your past relationships need to be had early on. Again, that does not mean you go and tell them each and every little inkling about how he cheated on you this time, but then you took him back, but then you bought him some shoes and then he didn't like them, so he took them back, come to find out he stole them. Don't.
I guess my thing is this, ladies, what would you want to know? Because if you gonna be so secretive, it makes me think of the Cinderella with Brandy. When Bernadette Peters, the stepmom, said, ladies, we hide our flaws until after the wedding. And I was like, damn, that's damn.
Oh, or the movie, it was the movie, girl, you're not supposed to let him know till you 5 years in the marriage with 2 kids. I was like, well, damn.
And if y'all are going to be that deceitful, then you can't be mad when men do what they feel like they need to do to protect themselves from you, because you are now being.
You have to create the vulnerable space even early in the relationship.
But that do so with discernment. Let me tell you, yo, I live in my Cancerian all day. I'm a true Cancer. I'm so squishy. I'm so squishy on the inside. But y'all can catch these pincers. You see what I'm saying to your life? Anybody can catch these. Y'all can catch these hands.
not these hands.
Y'all can catch these hands. I don't play that. I don't play that stuff. And
this is so terrifying.
Like,
fuck with
me. To me, the thing about
do that the next time somebody get like rough with me, not that it happens often. They get, yeah, what you can catch these hands.
Yeah. My thing about your past relationship is also what kind of relationship? Because a past marriage, kids on the way, stop it. Girl, stop. You had a whole husband. If he's like, yo, what happened? That's valid. And you're going to have to give more than, it didn't work out. Because let's be real. If he came to you and you knew he had an ex-wife and you asked him what happened and he said, it just didn't work out, you're not satisfied.
At all. Because now you got more questions than anything. What you
now
mean?
You got
who cheated? who did like your mind? First of all, if you're anything like this one here, she is I. Your imagination goes down that rabbit hole that Siobhan went down on YouTube. My imagination goes there. So you can't leave me with a blanket statement of, oh, it just didn't work out.
It comes down to communication, which is what we always say. And how do you want to start your relationship? Do you want to start your communication in your relationship with half truths, lies, and everything else? Like a secret, like again, we understand date 1, date 2, date 3. We get that things should evolve. But the other part of this is you're gonna have to open up eventually. If you really want this man to be your husband, you can't wait until marriage. Because part of the reason I think women, we the first ones to run to divorce court. We run to divorce court before men do. Like, that's the truth. Between 70 and 80% of marriages are initiated by women. Like, we do this. And it's usually stuff, let's be honest, monetary.
Not told.
But it's stuff, that's not monetary or cheating, because those tend to be the big two. And we acknowledge,
right.
We acknowledge that. The others are irreconcilable differences. And what that really tends to be, if we're honest, is
miscommunication,
or, well, you didn't tell me that. You found out 5 years into a marriage that he got a gambling problem. You found out 2 years into the marriage that he got a baby on, that he had a baby on, like when y'all were dating. You found out that, like, and then y'all are like, oh, I'm out. So a whole lot of time was wasted. And the guy you should have been with, could have been with, would have been with, you're not, because you held secrets, he held secrets, everybody's holding secrets. Not saying you need to run at the beginning. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I'm a communicator. Like, I'm probably an oversharer because I wear who I am on my sleeves. Where they say women wear their hearts. I don't necessarily wear that thing on my sleeve. That's stupid. But wear who I am on my sleeve. Trauma, past partners, or past not even past partner numbers, but things that are important. In the past, things that impact today, I will be honest about. Like these things, y'all.
Is,
what I expect in a relationship, I wear on my sleeve. I don't have time. I don't have time.
That's it. And that's like, I don't have time. And not only that, like, come on, y'all. We can't keep leaving room. We can't keep leaving room for mishaps. We can't keep leaving room for the devil. You leave room for misery, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. Oh, she's gonna be up there like, oh, hey, I can just slide right in. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta be smart. We gotta be smarter than that.
What matter is from my experience. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll tell y'all my experience. So the 5th thing was family issues, because he'll judge you for it.
How you gonna judge me for my family? I ain't choose them.
And I get what is being said. But let me tell y'all,
the two sides.
Let me tell y'all that the first date I had with the guy I'm semi-seeing, we friends now, but we're not really, I don't know, it's complicated, y'all. Y'all know I say complicated. Everything I be complicated. Our first date, he told me he had issues with his father, and that what his childhood taught, and it's also part of stuff is presentation. Because what he told me was a lot of the stuff that I saw between my parents, my wife, my mom always told me, never treat your wife like this. And so I vowed that I would never be like that. That's how it was stated to me. There weren't any details, but it was enough for me to know it was a serious stuff. Your dad was a janky person, probably, to your mom. Your mom told you don't treat your wife like this. You've decided you're not going to be that way. That's what's important. Do I have the details? No. I have the lesson learned. I have that you're not going to be whatever terrible it was. And cool. Great. The other thing it let me know is, oh, you got daddy issues too, baby? Me too. So that's the other thing. Wow, ladies, we are trying to hide this trauma, and I'm not saying you need to come. My dad beat me up when I was 17, and then he left me, and my mom was beating me, and my uncle was there, and my uncle had married me. I'm not saying you need to do all of that. But what I am saying is our very first date, we blended, or we connected on a shared trauma. We connected on a shared family issue. We connected on shared real life stuff. That when he said that, like, and his thing was, and this is the thing that we have to understand, ladies, men, when they open themselves, are vulnerable too. Because he was like, I don't want to scare you off. And I was just like, because you got daddy issues? I said, you're not going to scare me off. I got daddy issues too. I said, yo, I'm not going to get into details, but my dad is dead to me. We don't talk. We won't talk about Bruno. And he was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty much how I carry. Right. He was like, that's pretty much how I carry my father. Cool. We had an understanding. But think about, had we waited until marriage or had we waited until way later, I didn't get the details of what happened with his father till like our third date.
First of all, y'all,
he still doesn't have full details of what happened between me and mine. But understand that we carry the same trauma. It's the bonding, it's the connection.
We know that that's a trigger for one another where we can either stay away from it, and when that time comes, we can address it then.
And know that it's coming and expect it, so it's not a blind side. The other part is, you hiding your trauma from him. Guess what he's gonna do? Hide his trauma from you. But guess what y'all are both still dealing with? Your trauma. Guess what y'all are both still bringing to the relationship? Your trauma, the effect of your trauma. So even if you choose,
now on top of that, you also bring in a miscommunication, deception, secrets, and stress. So you don't already start your relationship off wrong. So
again, you don't have to share the details, but
just an overview. And I think that's the part. That's why I said maybe he was speaking in reference to a specific person. We all, well, not me, as an adult, you should have some type of capability to give a summary, to get, a summary or a brief synopsis of a situation without having to go into detail. And not sticking on the topic, but being able to make the statement and moving forward and continuing the conversation. You don't have to stay there, because I think that is enough. Like, you can be good at, oh yeah, I just mentioned this blanket statement. We both have an understanding, but you don't continue the conversation in another direction. So you stay stagnant in that spot. You have to know how to keep going from there, which is why I think social media has definitely handicapped this next generation, because they don't know how to have a conversation or to move on, growing past the trauma or even mentioning it. And I do believe that is a true part of healing from it. But in reference to this, look, I am a full-fledged I am a family person. I am so much of a family person, and I'm speaking to me because that's all I can speak to. I can't speak for nobody else. Sorry, y'all. I am a family person. I am so family-oriented. It's crazy. It's crazy to the point where when I became an adult, I didn't realize how much craziness and drama was actually involved in my family. Like, I had my family like up here. Like, certain members was like, okay, they hanging off the edge, like, and they holding somebody's hand, but my majority of us is up here. Until I became an adult and started, putting 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 4 plus 8, this plus this gives you. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, to the point I went to my mom in tears and was like, I never thought my family would be this way. I didn't think this would be my family story. I thought I had us, and my mom was like, well, baby, what did you think? And I don't know. That's not what I thought. And I told my mom I didn't know if that was because maybe they did a great job with shielding me from it, or maybe I was just naive. Or a combination of the two. Okay. And I didn't put reality together until later. And then I learned the true meaning of family, because through all of that, guess who you only got? Them. As horrible or terrific as they are, that's who you have. They're good. Majority of them are still going to be there. And I learned that lesson. And that's so, speaking to someone who, again, family for me is a core. Like, that's, y'all remember, what's that movie? with the core balls. That's my core ball. The with the mood, the angry, the little cartoon.
Oh, Inside Out.
Yes, my core memory, that family thing where it was just her and her parents. For me, it was everybody. Like it was so. Yes. Yeah, I cried on that part too. Like when it broke down, I broke down. It was a whole lot. It was a lot going on in that. But I say that so for me, I first of all, because I thought my family was up here, you couldn't tell me that my family wanted the stuff and everybody didn't want to be a part of it. Okay, baby? That was that. I was crazy.
I mean, your family a little insane, but it's nice.
A little.
It's a good be a part of.
I mean, yeah, when you got the reputation, oh, that's so and so's kid. You get left alone, yes. But I didn't put two and two together. Got older. But what I'm saying is, we're talking to my husband. Now, where I'm a family person, my husband is not. Outside of his children, my husband are not family-wise when it comes to brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles. It's nowhere near the same. To the point where it baffled me.
Yeah, your husband and I are more similar. We're more similar.
It shook me to my core. Like, why would you do that? Why would y'all do that? Why y'all are this? We are y'all family. Like, it baffled me to the point where it was a learning experience for me. So I understand not automatically just jumping right into telling everybody everything, but again, learning to have those surface level conversations, those summarized topic conversations where you can touch on the subject and move forward. Those are still important. My husband, I knew my husband's ride or die for his babies. Did I know the relationship that he had with his father or even his mom and his godmother? I did not know that until, we got married within the first quarter, so that don't really, it's not the same.
But honestly, that even speaks to something else, because you telling people to wait until they're married. The question next becomes, well, how long until y'all get married? Because again, if you get married in the first quarter, or I think technically y'all were like the beginning, middle, and the second quarter.
Beginning, because it was September 14th was our first date. December 19th we were married.
Y'all still within a quarter. If y'all but again, how long until you get married? Because that becomes the other part of this conversation that I don't think was addressed. When you say upfront, I think common sense would say, don't tell this to somebody on the first date per se. But again, I don't know what y'all relate. I don't know where that vibe is either. But to me, my thing with family issues is this. We can't pick our family, y'all. And I think as long as everybody understands that you can't pick your family, it is what it is. I say share what you want to share. And maybe to vet and see where his head is mentally, you don't share the mom and dad story because it's too close. Maybe you share, or the sister because it's too close. Maybe you share the aunt and uncle because you share that crazy. Or the cousin. You share the second family and see what he says or where he goes, or if he ghosts you or he doesn't. Oh, he did? Well, now I can tell about my grandparents because that's at least a direct line. It ain't quite my immediate, but it's the direct line. Okay, he was okay with that. Great. Now I'm gonna tell you about
my crazy ass siblings.
Let me tell you about my exactly.
Because if you can handle my siblings, my parents is not.
You know, like there's a way to do this where you talk about the family dynamic. You start with the aunts, uncles, and cousins. Then you go to the grandparents. Then you go to the siblings, and then you go to the parents. But you do. There's a look at the arm, y'all. All right. Y'all know we dancing. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. And so maybe and you don't start on the first date. Maybe the second date is them. The third date's up here. The fourth date's out here. And the fifth date we come in. But you still figure it out. Because honestly, eventually, he gonna have to deal with you and your family.
And on any level, even if you don't speak to someone is estranged or something like that. This Bama go to the family quote unquote cookout, because I won't say reunion because everybody don't have those now, or family outing, meet or greet, award, just to get together where it might be a few family members. He don't know what cousin, uncle, aunt, who not to talk to, because you ain't shared your trauma, because y'all ain't married, or you ain't shared any, not even trauma, just information about your family, because y'all ain't married yet. What?
So now when he goes to your uncle and asks him if the woman that's standing next to him, oh, how long y'all been married? But that's the girlfriend that he left his wife for, that we all
who
know.
over there in the kitchen cooking.
You done set him up for failure. You see what we want? So like that, it's important, y'all. Like
now he the butt of jokes, especially if you in one of our families. He the butt of jokes. He like,
or he done started drama and everybody like
didn't even know it.
Get rid of him. We hate him. But that's your fault. You didn't tell him. You didn't warn him. You didn't give him the
back.
You didn't
try again.
So y'all, like, I feel like overall for me, truthfully, and I realize this as a dater, what I'll say, ladies, is this has been my experience. I've been fortunate to never have dealt with an F-boy. I've never dealt with any crazy dudes. All the dudes I have ever dealt with in my whole 30 plus years have been great.
Oh, girl, I was about to say, finish that statement, because I was like, you going in with whole?
My whole 30 plus years.
You said my whole.
I've been dating that long. So like we say 20, my 20 years of dating, my 20 years of 25, my 25 years of dating about, I've had good dudes. And what I will say for me personally is this list of the 5 things you're not supposed to do doesn't really apply. I've done all of this, not only in the first quarter, but honestly, usually in the first month, because I value deep conversation. And so most of my conversations with guys, like I'm thinking of one person in particular, and it's the one that everybody's like, why did you like him? Why do you like him? Why do you love him? And he's still like up there in like the top loves of my life. Because between the time I met him and the time we had our first date, we talked 5 days a week from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. A lot of these do not talk to the dude about. We talked about
word conversations.
Why? Because we were on the phone for literally 10 to 12 hours.
And I do not want to listen to you breathe.
You would think it was a job. Y'all, we were on the phone 50 to 60 hours a week for 3 weeks. We met the end of January, which is when my best friend's birthday, and we had our first date February 4th, Valentine's Day. It was literally 2.5 weeks. And in those 2.5 weeks, we were on the phone for 50 to 60 hours a week. Like, we had real conversation. And I told him stuff that would have made, I will never lie. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, because y'all family a little bit. Y'all been here. We had a conversation that scared the shit out of me to have, because I had to be honest with him about something. With me, it's kind of like telling somebody you got kids. Like, but I had to tell him. And I was terrified because he was the first dude I told. The first dude I had my best friend told, I bitched up, y'all. I had my best friend call my boyfriend at the time, tell him this is what's, or he wasn't my boyfriend, I was just interested in him. Tell him this is what's going on, so I don't gotta say it. It was health issues, forever long lasting and lingering health issues is what I got, y'all. And it's always hard for me to talk to people about it. He was the first person I actually told, and his response to me, and this was within a week of knowing him, a week. But again, we talked 60 hours at this point. So that's like, God knows how many days. This is my health issue. This is what I got going on. You know what he said to me, and I still never forgotten it to this day? He was like, I got a Benz that doesn't run the way it should, but I'll never get rid of that Benz because I love it. Okay.
That was definitely a guy answer, but I get it.
But I get it. It was, you got this problem.
Right.
Okay. I'm with you through it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't impact how I feel about it.
The most guy way.
The most guy way to say this, we're gonna bring up a car. You're gonna bring up a car. You guys gonna bring up a car. I'm also gonna flex and let you know I drive a Benz. Because up until that point, it hadn't come up.
Just a little bit.
Just a little flex. Okay. But it's one of those things, y'all, that like, so I guess my thing that I would say, ladies, the caveat to these whole do not tell somebody up front is you also have to figure out how much time you've been talking to this person. Because it's not a matter of don't tell this person in a week, wait 3 dates, wait 5 dates, wait 6 weeks, wait 2 months. Because how much are y'all talking? And how deep are the conversations you are having?
Value of the conversation.
How connected are you to this person? Me and that dude are still connected to this day. And what I'm telling y'all happened a long, long time ago. I was still in college. So, but I'm saying that because that's the other part that has to be taken into consideration. And I shudder for a lot of these guys and girls, but mostly guys, because I know women, we flock to men giving advice, right? Like married men, we go to them. A lot of women go to them on YouTube, podcasts, all the things, because you're trying to get married and you're trying to do all this. Understand that the guy that you're dealing with is not the podcaster that you're listening to. It's not the YouTuber that you're listening to, especially if they're already married. You're still out here dealing with these other dudes who may or may not think like them. Now, the whole thing is to find a man that values you. And that may not be the easiest, but part of that to me, as an oversharer, as somebody who wears their whole personality and the whole pros, cons, and flaws about me on my sleeve, what I have learned and has still, thankfully, not been taken advantage of really, is I think that comes from 3 things, lady. Being honest with myself and other people, being ready and able and okay with walking the hell away if it's not going the way that I want it to or the way that I think it should, and having a good spirit of discernment to be able to listen to know when it is time to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And or setting a timeline like, yo, if this doesn't go this way within this time frame, I'm out. And for anybody who knows me, because like, you know, my sister knows me, people know me, I'm not a patient woman anymore. Mm-hmm. That ain't my virtue. I don't got that. So my advice, ladies, would be what
neither one of us is patient. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't do that patient. My patience is this. You did it. Not in my time frame. I'm gonna just do it myself. That's why. So my thing is when you hear these people talk about 5 things that a man shouldn't do, or 5 things that a woman, that as a woman, 5 things to watch out for a man to do, or 5 things to whatever. Yes, there are, first of all, exceptions. Acknowledge that there are exceptions to the rule. And the dude you may run across may be an exception to that rule. So you have to use discernment, because you might run an extraordinary dude away, holding him as if he's an ordinary guy, and he's not. The other is to be, like I say, honest with yourself. And there isn't a time frame. Like she said, I will agree on the first quarter. 100%. If in 3 months you don't know, be out. But even within that first quarter, what does that mean? I share a lot of myself with people because I value deep conversation. And so I am the person to be on the phone with somebody for 10 to 12 hours. Still, even at this age, maybe not a full 10, maybe I give you 6. I mean, I got to get up early for work. But 6 to 8 hours, I can do a part-time job. I can't do a whole nother full. I can do a part-time job with you. But I want to know who the man I'm dealing with is. And so I know I have to open my shell. I'm a Cancer. I have to open that shell a little bit. And I'm not saying don't be ready, especially for my Scorpios out there. Don't have your tail ready. Something ain't looking right. Okay? My Aquarians, my water bearers have the jugs full and drown him if necessary. All right? My Aquarius is, if it ain't looking to tornado his ass somewhere else. All right? You hear what I'm saying? I can go through all the signs, y'all. I really, truly can. My Taurus is, bullhorn his ass the fuck out if it really comes to that. My Gemini, it's 2 of y'all. It should be even easier. Flip this shit. Kick his behind to the court. My Leos, y'all lions, roar and bite. Tear his head off. He done. Colosseum. Wrong. Understand what I'm saying to you? Libras, the scale ain't balancing. Tip. Oops, my bad.
Pull me over. Tip me over. Pull me out.
My Aries, Rams, headbutt him out of there. Off the mountain. He's gone. Y'all have to finish your way, no matter your sign, no matter who you are, to be ready to kick the dusties to the curb, to leave space for a good one. But you also have to be honest with yourself. And you cannot hide yourself from somebody if you really want them to be to offer you, because you're never really going to, as she said in the very beginning, you're never really going to give him the chance to show you the full capability of the man he could be for you. And the other thing I will say is, a man who really loves you, especially when it comes to your trauma, especially like, for example, that dude and his coachy person, their whole like trauma situation, any man that really cares for you is going to feel some type of way about you, even for stuff that he wasn't there for.
Yep.
He gonna want to go back to your second grade classroom and punch
And
the
stay. Okay.
Okay. He gonna want to go back to the teacher that told you wasn't gonna be ish in the 5th grade and fire them. He gonna want to go all the way back to the bully in the playground that told you that threw dump sand in your hair and tripped them as they run to the slide. That a dude that loves you is gonna be like, yo, I wanted, if I could have, I would
erase that. I definitely, if I could erase it or prevent it or
protect you
from it, they definitely will. And because they know they can't, they do feel the same way when we know we can't help a guy in a certain out of certain things, and certain things that we gotta watch our guys, our partners, our family members, our people go through, but we can feel it too. That it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So as women, we have to keep that into perspective when it, not just when we're sharing our traumas, but when they're sharing theirs, because we have to, and I might be a little biased, we have to realize that most good guys will take our vulnerability and hold it sacred.
It's strength for them. It gives them strength.
And it shows them that they're needed, they're wanted, they're desired, and all of that. So we have to provide that same strength, whatever, however you say it, for them. And no, this is not going against I'm tired, I don't want to be strong. No, that's not what we're saying. Like, y'all come on, y'all like keep things in perspective. Come back for the one who went left. Come back. But and it's that balance thing. It's that 50-50, not half and half, but the sharing part of it. And we're all, as everyone likes to say, human. So we all have the same emotions, and for the most part, we all have the same different reactions. Yes, I did say same different because it's applicable. It's not an oxymoron in this one. The same different responses to trauma. So, or life. I'm not even gonna say trauma, to life. And that's the good and the bad. So for me, my final words on this whole thing is perspective. When listening to podcasters, even us, keep things into perspective. Let's do a reality check and be sensible about things. For those who don't understand what discernment is, be sensible about things, allow grace, but keep that into perspective, and that's all that I really have. As far as relationship goes, again, you have those who have, like myself, short period of time, got married within the first 3 months. You have those who've waited 30 plus years before they actually decided to get married when their children are almost 40.
Oh, you didn't talk about me. I thought that was shade. I thought that was about to be shade. It wasn't shade.
No, not to you. That was
it wasn't just in my direction. I got it. You're right. Okay. That's why I grabbed my glass, because I was
no, that one was not for you. That was for the elders. So again, just keeping things into perspective, reality check, and understand what's valuable to you, and cherish that information so that when you share it, you're sharing it appropriately. That's what I got. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will say, my glass. Cheers to that. So Siobhan, let us know the rating of your non-popping grapes experience you having over there.
I mean, I still feel whatever I felt before. I'm sure it was in the forest somewhere. I don't really remember. I could look it up. I don't feel like it. I pretty much done down this bottle. That's how I feel about Gewürztraminer. Y'all, I love Gewürztraminer. And that's it.
There you have it. For my Robert Mondavi. That's how we have to say his name. Mondavi. This is, it says a private selection. Light bubbled Pinot Grigio. I don't think the bubbles did any added or took anything away from it.
They didn't that people will buy it for the same reason that you just bought it, because it says bubbles.
It said bubbles. And y'all know I'm not really a bubble person, but I do enjoy the Pinot Grigio from Robert. So I figured that's funny. Correlation, my husband, and then so that's why I was like, oh, that's cute. I do enjoy the Pinot Grigio from Mondavi. So I just figured, it says lightly bubble because we don't like a lot of bubbles. I was like, oh, okay, so let's see what a little bit of bubbles tastes like. Like, it was just the simple curiosity. So my rating for this is going to be a 3. Like I said, it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it wasn't a bad wine. I feel like this is good. I feel like this would be good for people who like, I like Moscato, but you don't want to buy Moscato.
You're trying to branch out, trying to grow up. Get your big girl glass.
You still get your bubbles.
You still get your bubbles. Get your big girl glass. We're not doing it.
But now you get a Pinot Grigio. You get a different grape. So now, you can sound sophisticated to your other hood rat friends, because y'all know that's what we call thought juice over here in this here podcast. Moscato was thought juice to us. So yeah, now you can be a little bit more sophisticated with your friends. I mean, now I will say, I feel like this would be bomb as most. This would be bomb as most.
Okay.
So I'll say that. Yes. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the conclusion of another wonderful episode of A Little Something, the number 2. Wine About with your hostesses, Ty Michelle
and Siobhan Camille.
Be sure you join us now that we are back for part 2 of our second season, each and every Wednesday, for more laughs, more fun, and of course, more wines. Just come shoot the shit with us, y'all. We here all the time. We here for the debatables, respectfully. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, start a conversation. Follow us on Instagram at A Little Something, the number 2, Wine About. That's ALSW2 on Instagram. And remember, as always,
there's nothing wrong with a little one.
Or toodles, y'all. See y'all next week. For real, we'll see y'all next week.